Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Painless Universal, a conversation with myself and Welsh. Today we're talking about entrepreneurs who have taken initiatives from challenges they've seen at home to make a difference. We'll be talking to Patrick Adom. He is a Ghanaian entrepreneur and founder of Very Puzzle, a 100-piece jigsaw and puzzles that focuses on African landmark. This month, Very Puzzle launched their next country puzzle, focusing on landmark of Ethiopia. I'll be talking to him about why he came up with this idea and challenges he had to overcome, the pain of not seeing African map anywhere, not being able to talk to his children about the you know African map in kiddie language, and why he came up with the whole concept. Meet Patrick. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Painless Universal, a conversation with myself and Welsh. I have Patrick, as I mentioned in introduction. He'll be telling us about his very puzzle, why he started it, the pain behind the journey of not seeing others like that. And also, we'll be talking about what next. Hi, Patrick, how are you?
Hi, Anne. I'm very, very well, thank you. And thank you for having me on your show.
I'm really glad. I'm so delighted you joined me because what you do is so different, and not many people have been have done this to really put Africa, the continent, and the landmark, and you've taken the initiative to go out and do it. Before we go into all of that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is Patrick?
That's a very wide-ranging question. Simply put, I'm a 40-something-year-old, born in Ghana, West Africa, raised in London, in the UK. I have a daughter, and that's really the key focus for me, kind of making sure that she has what she needs and she's able to fulfill her potential. Yeah, I mean, I work a 9 to 5 like most people, and then I guess in my spare time, I just felt I had spare capacity to do something, and I wanted to challenge myself and push myself. And seeing that there wasn't much that represented my daughter in the toy market, I thought maybe I could do something. Maybe that's covered more than one question, but that's kind of me in a nutshell.
No, I love what you said. I have my daughter and I needed to do something for her. But before you get into all of that, what inspired you to think to yourself that I need to do something different? Now, before you can get into that, what you do, what inspired you? What motivated you? I know your daughter was there. What was going on? What was she doing that you said? Because I have kids and my children, and I've not got that. And I would love to know what really inspired you that got that aha moment and said, I need to do this.
It wasn't any one thing as such. I don't think. I think I always had some sort of. I just thought I had like spare capacity. I felt I could do something. I felt I had, the energy and the wherewithal to do something. And I just felt maybe there wasn't, work didn't provide an outlet for all of my talents, as it were. So I felt that maybe, I had spare capacity to do something, and I felt like I could have done a number of things. And I did explore a number of different opportunities, but that the puzzles really resonated with me just because I felt, okay, this is great. This is something that I could share with my daughter, and if this works for me and my daughter, then I think there's going to be a market big enough with other people that would also, enjoy something similar. And so far that's been the case. We've had good feedback and good good reactions from people. So it's just really just interacting, playing with my daughter. I saw that there were uh, you know people just such as myself that had started doll companies, like black doll companies, and had done other sorts of merchandise like bags featuring black characters and like self-published books. So seeing that let me know that actually we don't need to wait for the big companies to do this for us, and that we can actually take our own initiative, and that we should take our own initiative. We shouldn't just complain and not do anything, or petition Disney or Hasbro or Martell to make these things for us. It's really up to us. It is work, it is difficult, but actually it's not that difficult to be able to, start your own company and produce a product. So yeah, I just feel in the past we kind of complain and accept the status quo, or we just kind of expect somebody else to do it for us, or petition. And it's like, why would you petition another company to profit when you could do it and profit and kind of recirculate that money, sort of thing? So it just dawned on me, just thought, you can do this, and at least try. And if you don't succeed, at least you've tried, and that's, it's better than not trying. And so that's kind of what motivated me.
That's definitely right. I think sometimes we self-doubt ourselves and not knowing that sometimes you just have to do it because and you know best what is true representative of Africa as well. It's only you who could really tell that story. So what has been the reception since since the African Jigsaw came out? What has that been the reception like?
The reception's been really good. I'm really humbled, and I'm really, thankful for people's, feedback and things. And it's really strange because it's, I don't know what word to put it. It's not intimate, but it's also because people are spending time with their closest loved ones, and they're actually spending quality time and interacting with my product. So I feel really humbled and really appreciative that people, we're all working very busy jobs, we're all trying to do a million and one different things. We've constantly got emails and social, and if you actually choose to spend time with your child or your parent, and you using one of our products to do that, for us, that's really great validation and really humbling, because people's time is so scarce at the moment. And so, we feel really privileged. And some of the feedback we had from one customer, where she actually bought the puzzle for her granddad, who was like 97, had Alzheimer's. And so it was a way for them to kind of communicate and talk about, him growing up in Jamaica and that sort of thing. And so for me, that's really, really heartfelt and profound, because, at that age, being able to share and kind of, relive memories and stuff, it's really heartwarming. And it's, these are special moments that with COVID, we haven't always had the time to spend with our loved ones and things like that. So to use that, it says a lot. And I'm really proud and privileged to have that.
So how many countries have you launched so far?
So far we have around 20 puzzles, including the Africa one. So one continent and then 20 puzzles. We have London, so that's not a country. So we keep getting requests for more countries, which again is really positive and really heartwarming. But we also have to think about the business and economic factors, because people would say, do you have like a Cape Verde or St. Vincent puzzle? And I think, well, there's more people like in a borough of London, like in a Hackney or like Lewisham has more people. So it's like, is it economically viable? People might say, do you have like a Tanzania map? And there isn't a big Tanzania diaspora in the UK or expat community in the UK. So it would be hard to maybe make the volumes and the economics make sense. But our ambition, which is on record and stated, would be to have a puzzle for each country in Africa. We would also want to do specific cities as well. So whether it's Dar es Salaam or Accra or Lagos, so really drill down and get even more regional. But also, we've got ambitions to do puzzles for, non-African Caribbean countries. So, the UK, Sweden, Italy, that kind of thing. And we've had discussions, and there's two camps. People say, great, you're a fully legitimate fully legitimate company, and so don't pigeonhole yourself and don't just stick with what you feel comfortable with and what is your background. And then other people say, well, maybe you're diluting the brand slightly, and this is your kind of USP. My personal feeling is that we should look to do as many countries, globally as possible, and become really, really established.
You recently launched in Ethiopia, the map, and I was fascinated. Why Ethiopia would you pinpoint that as a recent one? What drew you to go for that angle?
Yeah, so Ethiopia was one of the first puzzles, actually, one of the initial ones. And really, I think it was a couple of reasons. So initially, my thinking was look for the countries with the biggest population. And Ethiopia was like the second biggest population in Africa. So that was the thinking and the rationale behind that. but also I think Ethiopia resonates, I think, in terms of its connection with Jamaica and the Rastafarian movement. Also, I believe, I don't believe, it has a really rich and diverse history. So with things like the connection with the Queen of Sheba and Solomon, and their monarchs tracing their history and their lineage back to King Solomon. So, it's got connections to Egypt and in other countries in that region. So it just had a really, really long, rich history. So I thought that was something that should be celebrated, and I could then showcase that on a puzzle. So those were the two main reasons we did Ethiopia. What we've found actually is that Jamaica is probably our best-selling puzzle behind the Africa puzzle, and so it was good for us to experiment and see that, because otherwise, yeah, our thinking initially was, the bigger the country, the more people we can sell to potentially, but that hasn't been the case. So, and that's been good to learn, and you have to experiment and just look at the data and kind of use that, because having seen that for Jamaica, then we went back, we did a Caribbean puzzle. We now have a Trinidad and Tobago puzzle, and we're working on a Barbados puzzle. So yeah.
Um, with puzzles, because I love puzzles. I think they're so fun. They're really engaging. I think kids, especially, it teaches them one or two things. How have you made your own puzzle different to really engage a younger audience? Especially, you said the one of the inspiration behind this was your daughter. So how have you made it engaging? Because I would love to have one of these puzzles and get it. I would get one of this for my daughter to get her really engaged. And also, is there a learning tool affiliated with it?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a parent and I'm African, so I'm an African parent. And African parents, it's always about education, it's always about learning. And I'm the worst for that sometimes. The school says, do 2 tasks, and I give my daughter 3 or 4 because I want to push her, and that's, we've got to work twice as hard. That's kind of drilled into us. But with the puzzles, I just really wanted to make them fun, and there's an educational element behind it, and there's things that kids just learn, whether it's hand-eye coordination, whether it's, shape recognition, and they just learn that by default. You don't have to do it, if that makes sense. And just with my daughter, I mean, I'm not an educational person, I'm not a teacher or anything. It's just my experience and what I've read. But with my daughter, if something is not fun, she just doesn't want to do it. And there's no amount of persuading or cajoling. And I didn't want other children to experience that. And what somebody said to me, or I saw online recently, is that children spell love Time. And so the whole point of our puzzles is to spend that quality time with your child. It's not to, quiz them, and because once they sit down and there's an expectation that there's a learning outcome, and there's like a memory and recollection, there's like, the body language will go. It's just, you've kind of diluted the fun, and so the best thing to do is just have fun, just talk. How was your day? What do you think this person, just have a conversation, and the rest will come. I think sometimes we focus too much on their learning and the educational outcomes. I think if we just let things flow naturally, I've done things with my daughter with the puzzle and without the puzzle, where it's like, we'll just have like a list of random country names from Africa, and she'll just pretend she's going on an adventure. And then, weeks later, she'll recollect the names of the countries. And it just then strikes you, actually, you didn't have to sit down and give her an A to Z list of the countries in Africa. You just had to make it a fun, like, we're going on a safari and an adventure, and then she'll remember it already. So I think we focused, and people have, contacted me, like a stockist was, oh, you don't have a booklet for this puzzles, and why, it's like, but how many puzzles do you get that have a booklet that's educational? Just have fun. Don't make everything, because people's body language just, they tense up, and kids just, you lose the fun. Just have fun, and then the rest will come. I think, yeah.
I like that response, Patrick, actually, because it's something when I asked the question, I was actually thinking to myself, it should be learning, it should be this, it should be, oh gosh, what city did you learn about Lagos today? Where is this in Lagos? And then your response really dilutes it. It makes it calm. It's actually, it is difficult to get kids to learn when they know they have to learn. They do that in school anyway. They do that, all their different activities. They're having this where they're just going to have fun, and through that process, they will learn in the process. It is actually, I love that answer. That is so wonderful, because it's so true. I now go into the bits about business. You know, it's so painful launching a business, especially in time like these. It's the pandemic has made it very difficult for a lot of people to even sustain a job, let alone launching a very incredible, interesting, fun, loving activity. How did you go about with launching this business?
I'm not sure. I think if I had known now, known then what I know now, I'm not sure I would have commenced. But I think sometimes you just got to jump in and believe that things will work. There are sometimes sleepless nights. There are lots of anxieties and worries and things. But again, I think just taking a deep breath and just having belief and confidence and just doing one or two things at a time. I mean, my problem is that I'm often impatient and I'm often trying to get a lot done in one go. And actually, you need to pace yourself. You need to just just do things gradually. As long as you're doing something every day, a little bit, it moves things along. And then you know after a year or more, you look back and think, oh wow, gosh, we've come quite a long way, and there's a lot has been accomplished. But it's not all done overnight. So it's a gradual process. I think for me, when I initially launched, work for me at the time wasn't very busy. I had quite a good paying job, as it were. So I had some small surplus, I guess, savings and funds. So I could use that, and there wasn't a lot of pressure because I had like one product. It cost less than a couple of £1,000 to launch it, which is maybe the equivalent of a couple of iPhones or something. So it wasn't a huge amount of capital. I mean, for some people that might be a challenge. So I appreciate that. For other people, it's just the cost of like an annual holiday or something. So again, I guess it's priorities and what things you're willing to kind of sacrifice and what things you're willing to kind of forego just to, you know, with I guess with the hope or with the aim of achieving more benefits and dividends in the long run. And so that's kind of where I am now. It's a lot more difficult because we've got 15 to 20 or so different products, and when we order from China, there's a minimum order amount, and so being able to have all the products in stock at any one time is a challenge. We were stocking things in or warehousing things in my house in the spare room and in the attic, and we're slowly running out of space, so we're having to put stuff in storage, and then that's additional cost. So the costs are really starting to mount up, which sometimes I look at it and I think, how am I going to meet these financial obligations in terms of payments and things, especially as you're relying on sales to kind of pay for things. When I had my accounts done last year, I was quite shocked. Like, this is how much I've put in. I was like, wow, maybe I could have just extended my loft or got a new conservatory or just had a midlife crisis and got like a sports car or something. Just had fun. But the idea is I'm actually building something that's long term, that's sustainable, that's going to reap dividends in the long run. And also, I think part of it for me in my head was win or lose, fail or succeed. I would have set an example to my daughter, and hopefully it's a positive one, and it's one that inspires her to also fulfill her dreams and pursue her ambitions. Because I think too much of the time we kind of take the safe route and we just do what everybody else is doing. We do the job, we kind of not really satisfied, and we kind of stick at it. But because it pays our bills and things, and we don't really take chances. And I didn't want to be a hypocrite with her and say, oh, you can do whatever you want, yeah, it's like, well, what are you doing, daddy? What did you do? That was because she asked these things when I put things to her, and like, well, what did you do? Or and told me a time when it's like, so I had to be able to give her valid answers to her questions, and prove to her that actually you can fulfill your ambitions, and even if you don't succeed, at least you tried. And it's to me, what people say is when they look back, it's they're not trying, it's the chances that they didn't take, not the failures that they had. So I wanted to pursue that while I felt I still had energy, and I still had like some youth in me to be able to do these things
Well,
and look back and regret.
no, absolutely. I know the challenges of setting a business is so painful, and a lot of people don't really understand the financial implication. I think everyone sees the hard work, they see the beautiful work you've produced, but they're not understanding behind saying. On that note, how do people go out there to purchase your the puzzle, where can they find you? So more and more people get to buy or own a piece of puzzle in their house.
Yeah, so the first instance would be our website, which is verypuzzled.com. That's the first place to go. And then we're stocked in a number of different shops. So these are mostly independent stockists in the UK and also in other countries like Ghana, Nigeria, the US, and so forth. We are currently in the process of being stocked with John Lewis. So that's really a huge success for us. We've been working on it for some time. And so hopefully by the time this goes out or shortly after this goes out, people will also be able to order online from John Lewis. So we're really excited about that.
That would be fantastic. I would be absolutely delighted. And I can't wait. I'm purchasing my own puzzle because I want my girls and my son to really understand, and they love puzzle because it's just a fun way to engage kids as after school activity rather than being on the video games. Something for you to say, okay, guys, we're going to spend an hour. Everyone get to your own puzzle, do your own. I really appreciate this conversation, Patrick. Thank you so much for your time. Any final words out there to tell us a little bit about your puzzle? Any final words?
I think what I always say to people is, to believe in themselves and to kind of pursue whatever it is that they, have ambition to pursue. Not to just look at the status quo and just kind of go along with what everybody else is doing or just playing it safe. Take some chances, take some risk, and do believe in yourself, and make that first step. I think the initial first steps are always quite easy, maybe, or quite you'd be surprised. You can get some quick wins and some quick successes, and then it's about the long haul and actually doubling down and doing the hard work. But just go for it. Believe in yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Patrick, for your time. I really enjoyed the conversation with you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
You too. Take care. Thank you very much for having me.